Okay, let's start with Coach here.
Alrighty, guys. Really excited to be back and get to work with this 2018 football team and really develop a chemistry amongst this staff and these players. I think anytime that you bring a group together, it's a new team, it's a new year, and there's a new focus. And one of the things that I see with this football team is a great amount of depth. It may not have a true superstar right now, but it has some very talented individuals, and we're going to need to build this team from the bottom up. We're going to need to develop our youth. That's the third and second stringers, as well as continue to develop the first stringers. But this chemistry over these 15 practices is going to be very, very important and really becoming a better, fundamentally sound team. As I looked at the difference between being a conference champion and taking the next step of going to a playoff, really addressing the fact of being fundamentally sound in all aspects of the game, from turnover margin, where I did not feel we were very good last year, to penalties where we were not very good, just being honest and being realistic. And that's one of the things that we're addressing within this camp. For me, at all positions, whether it's quarterback, safety, linebacker, running back, it is an educational period in our year. It's not an evaluation. Do we evaluate tape each and every day? Yes. But this is an educational period to try to progress each and every player on our football team closer to fall training camp, where we'll be getting even deeper into evaluation and being able to make a depth chart. Thank goodness we have 40 practices, 15 right now, and now 25 with a new rule that's coming up in the fall. We've got 40 before we have to make that depth chart. I know that at this point in time of the year, you always have to talk about rosters, and we haven't seen each other in a while, so I'll give you the information I know you want. Maybe I'll knock out a couple of your questions, limit them. Right now, I've had the opportunity to talk with Jalen Green and Roy Hemsley, and have granted both the opportunity to explore graduate transfer options. They'll look at those through the spring, and we'll see where we are at the end of the spring semester. Cole Smith and Nate Smith, both because of lower body injuries, are going to medically retire. Does not mean they're leaving the team. They're finishing their degrees right here. They'll move on and get their masters also. And while doing that, they're going to be student coaches for us. We've had that before with several young men. Dane Stevens, who's one of our graduate assistants now, has done that and have had a lot of success. So they're just moving to a different part of our football team. Jack Jones will focus primarily on academics this spring. I have suspended him for the first game of the year for a team violation. Jamel Cook is also focusing on academics this spring, and he'll explore transfer opportunities this semester and make a decision at the end of the semester. And then I know you're going to ask about Joseph Lewis. There's been no change there. He's suspended from all team activities, and any other questions you have, I'll point you in the direction of the Universal PR. As far as the injuries go right now, it is absolutely great to see Greg Johnson and Isaiah Polamalu back out here. They are going to be limited in contact, but to be able to see them get valuable reps in shorts and helmets and see them move around again is absolutely great. We're being a little bit careful with Marvell Tell with a little bit of a groin injury. I expect him to be out this week, take a week for spring break, and then he should be back for the last 4 weeks. Taylor Katoa, absolutely great to see him back off an ACL injury, to see him move around today. Again, we'll wait for contact to see where he's at. Toa Lobendon, we're holding just for knee, a little bit of knee soreness. We'll see where he's at after spring break. Frank Martin, a little bit of knee soreness. We're holding him till after spring break. And Vine Malapai has a hamstring tightness, so you saw him work a little bit, but he'll be full speed hopefully by the time we get back from spring break. Out for spring right now. Wale will be out after hip surgery. Stephen Carr is out after back surgery. Daniel Amorta-Bebe, we're making an investment to really try to get that muscle strain fully healed, so he'll be out this spring. And then Marlon Tuipulotu is out with recovering from the back surgery that he had. He'll be hopefully ready by fall training camp. With that, I know that's a lot of guys. Hopefully I answered a lot of questions for you, but feel free to fire away.
Like Jamel.
Yes.
I'm sorry, just to clarify on Joseph Lewis, he is still a member of the program, however, is suspended.
Currently he's definitely suspended. He's not on our spring roster, as you have seen. Any other questions, I'll have to address you to the university.
Stephen Carr. How a guy like Jamel could come back at the end when you're talking about going to evaluate what happens?
Jamel right now is just focusing on academics. He's looking to make that transfer leap, but right now he needs to focus on his academics.
But if he decided he wanted to come back, would he still be
right
able
now
to?
he's just focusing on academics and the ability maybe to transfer.
Coach, can you talk about the challenges of replacing a player of the caliber of Sam Darnold? Talk about the process, and does the program automatically go into a slight downshift while you do that?
No, I really think that not only is it Sam, but there's several members. Anytime that you lose a 4,000-yard passer, a 1,500-yard rusher, and an 1,100-yard receiver, the next man has to step up. And good for us that we have quality men behind them. I'm a fan of our quarterbacks that are currently on campus and the ones that are coming. I look at our receivers right now, and to see a Tyler Vaughns and a Michael Pittman, step up last year, to see the growth of a Josh Amorta-Bebe and a Trayvon Sidney coming along, a Velus Jones, and then to see a great job by Said Ware today. Let's get a healthy Stephen Carr back out there, a healthy Vi back out there. Dominic Davis is going to help us at running back this spring, so we're looking forward to that, and then getting Marquis Step back in there. But there's several positions that it's going to be that next man, and that's the beauty of being at USC. That's why you have to recruit great classes year in and year out, so there is no downturn. We've won a Rose Bowl, we've won a Pac-12 championship, and these guys want to take that next step, and that's our job as coaches, to recruit them, develop them, and get them.
At this point, does any of the QBs have a slight advantage because of experience or the time that they spent
with first day out, just in shorts and helmets, I thought that they did a nice job of field generalship. I thought Maddie made some nice throws today, but it's day one, and we got 39 left, and I look forward to watching the film and just correcting them and trying to get them better. For me, for them, it's education this way through. How much closer can we get all our quarterbacks on this field closer to being Pac-12 competition ready?
You look like some change, no water break, and you finished with some grass drills and sprints and that. Is that kind of a little bit of a change in emphasis?
Well, we want to make it a hard camp, and I think one of the things that you have is you have 15 practices, Dan, and you have a day off in between. And when you have the full numbers that we have right now, and really a lot of depth, we want to get a lot of reps. We want to make it a nice hard camp, recover the next day, learn from it off the film, and then come back and do it again. And you only get 15 times between right now and August the 3rd, so you got to make the most of each one.
What are some of you?
How is this quarterback competition different than ones before, where you got two guys competing now and then you got another guy coming in the fall?
I don't think it's any different. I've always said that the man at all positions, the man that's playing the best by the time we get to game one is going to go out there, and the best man's got to play in that moment, whoever it might be. And so, again, like I keep on saying, I truly want to just get each quarterback that's on this field progressed to be closer to be able to compete at the level that we need to. And then as we get into fall camp with 25 practices, then you really got to do some evaluation on all fronts at all positions, and then when you get to that week of that game, make a decision at all positions and go with it.
What are some
You're going to
traits?
be picking a guy at the end of spring at quarterback.
No, sir.
What are some traits that are unique to Jack, and what are some traits that are unique to Matt as quarterbacks?
I think that that when we started recruiting Sam, we started recruiting his style of quarterback, and that fits our system, and that is one, the ability always to be able to throw the ball. You have to have arm talent, but also you've seen the athleticism that a Sam brings to the table, and Matt Fink brings to the table. So remember him jawing down versus Oregon State for 51 yards, and Jack Sears extremely, even Holden Thomas, and those guys can create in the pocket. I'm not asking them to run 20 times a game, but I am asking them to know what real life football is, and that's being able to move in the pocket, keep your eyes downfield, keep a play alive, and be successful getting it to your receivers. So they have arm talent with the ability to have athleticism to create, and I think each one of those bring that to the table.
A couple of new players out here, but also a couple of new faces on your coaching staff. How do you think they did in their first run through today?
Well, they're pros. I mean, that's I've had the great advantage of being around these guys for in my 24 years, and trust each and every one of them to develop our kids and do what's best for this university. And so proud to have this coaching staff together. It's elite, in my opinion, and to have these men on their first day, to watch them work, makes you smile.
So much.
This is the first time in 30 years, Coach, that you've lost your starting quarterback, lead rusher, and top receiver. Do you believe in your guys' talent right now coming out the first day?
I believe in the men that surround me, yes, sir.
Clay, a question. Back surgeries are always problematic, especially a disc. We think Clayton Kershaw will be out for a month and a half and have to work his way back. Stephen Carr, how is he progressing from his surgery, and do you actually expect him back for the start of fall camp in August?
I do. That's what everybody heals differently, but the doctor's prognosis, the surgery went extremely well. They've gauged about a 3-month rehab, but that's crossing your fingers and everything going right. We won't bring him back until he's 100%, but he's already up. He's walking around. He's already rehabbing. He's almost getting a half mile to a mile worth of walking in right now. So he's really doing a nice job, and he knows that he has time. We're giving him time, and I trust our doctors to get him back on time.
When did he actually have the surgery? Was it a month ago?
Don't hold me to it. I think it was about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
There's a lot of focus on offense, but on defense, you guys lost a few playmakers up front. How do you replace like a Rasheem Green, Uchenna, those guys?
Yeah, one of the things that I think that we're getting back off the edges is you look at having a Porter Gustin back and watching him move around today, what makes you smile. And he's on a mission. I mean, it was so neat to watch him work because he's infectious to everybody else. He just sets the standard for how practice should be. Uchenna did that. Uchenna did that for us too. And then, I go back and I've watched so much tape over last season, and I think about the play of Jordan Iosefa down the stretch and some of the plays that he made in some late ball games, and to watch him out here today. But you think about those 4 backers between Porter, and John Houston and a Cam Smith and a Jordan Iosefa. Those are great players, and now you back them up with a Levi Jones and a Giuliano Valenico and those type of individuals. You really see some depth being developed, and I think that's where our strength is. I really feel that there may not be a superstar right now on this team, and I told our team that. That's not a bad thing. By the end of the year, let's hope we have some superstars. But right now, I see strength in numbers, and I see depth at each position.
Will those numbers get on the field? I mean, you haven't maybe played a lot of numbers especially on defense.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we want to be able to do. I think you saw that a little bit in our defensive line last year, being able to roll guys. That's how Brandon Peely really got the availability to play and get on the field. Jordan Iosefa coming in and doing a nice job. Even I know Matt Lokes down the stretch really helped us at safety position, spelling them, and then Isaiah Langley, him mixing in at the corner position, I thought really helped. And that's one of the things that I've addressed with our coaches is really, I think our strength in numbers. Let's be a fresh football team, and it's okay for one kid to come out, put the other kid in, and play more numbers. And I think we're to that position now. We have experience on the field. That freshman group is now a year older. The sophomore group's a year older, and now hopefully they can help us more.
Coach, you mentioned turnovers and penalties being 2 points of emphasis.
Yes.
How do you address that in spring practice?
You saw the first period. That was my period, and it's really my goal to, I remember myself as a good football coach, and to have the ability to teach fundamentals and technique to everybody. I think sometimes we get caught up on just focusing on defensive fundamentals and offensive fundamentals, and sometimes we got to remember to teach everybody what ball security is, teach everybody how to strip a ball and punch it out. Is it simple, Simon? Yes, but those guys are going to play special teams. Maybe an offensive player, there's a turnover, and you get the ball back. Maybe you pick the ball off, and you are 2 arms at contact. Those are things that I want to be very attention to detail. That's my job, and I want to do a great job at it this year. That's my focus, and so you'll see that point of emphasis out here. I'll try to I actually hurt my knee today trying to do it, but I look forward to being more involved in the fundamental and techniques.
Do one more here.
The penalties is a lot when you look at that. Some of them are decision-making penalties. Some are just penalties where you're jumping off sides, but a lot of the ones that I'm focusing on right now are with the hands. I think right now, when you go back and look at the tape, I thought we were an average to below average hands team that created holding penalties, that created defensive back penalties, and that's where we got to get better. So some of the drills that you saw, even where we took 2 periods just working hat and hands and getting the hands in the right and correct place, I hope pay off. But that's going to be a standard for us for not only this camp, but fall training camp, and hopefully it pays off for us in the fall.
What's with Matt and Jack, what's the plan for splitting first team reps, and how does that work?
They'll both, and like I've told guys at all positions, I really don't care if they're with the 1s or the 2s. You saw an equal amount of reps for the 1s and 2s today. Everybody will get the opportunity to run with the 1s at every position to see how they handle it, but they're going to both get equal numbers, as well as Helton Thomas that's in there too. I'm going to see what he does. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much.